Hey everyone, today's video is going to be a little bit different in that I'm going to be providing a preview of a bag that's coming out next year. This is the Slingah System from a company called A-Tach that's based out of Hong Kong. It's not currently available. You can sign up to be notified when the launch happens, but I wanted to share it now because it illustrates one of the things that I really enjoy most about the channel as a bag enthusiast is the opportunity to get a preview of some of the bags that are coming out before they're actually on the market, just to see what sort of creative ideas new brands are coming out with. The founder of A-Tach reached out to see if I wanted to check out the prototype for the Slingah system. You know, I'd really done a lot of research on the pain points that people had with some of the popular bags that are currently on the market. And you know, it seemed like it had a lot of really interesting ideas. I've had a chance to use this for a while now, and this is a prototype. This is probably gonna change when the actual launch version comes out. But I believe that for the most part, things are gonna stay the same, and this should give an idea of what to expect when the bag comes out. And so I'm gonna be sharing my experience as I've had a chance to test it out, load it out. I'll kind of go through my normal process with the caveat that, you know, there are gonna be some changes and updates and that, you know, it's still kind of in the development process. So really excited to share it. Before jumping in, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the Daypack portion of the system, I really like the appearance of the bag. It's got a very minimal style. It reminds me of bags from companies like Evergoods and Bellroy, so it's gonna blend in nicely into a lot of different environments, whether you're traveling, going into the office, just exploring a city. And then as far as the materials, the bag feels really solidly built. It's using a recycled nylon fabric that feels like it's gonna hold up well to rougher usage and provide a nice amount of weather resistance. I also like that this fabric isn't super rigid, so it'll mold nicely around the items that are on the inside of the bag. Just make it a little bit more adaptable. And then beyond that, you have some really nice YKK zippers all throughout, including aqua-guarded zippers on some of the primary openings. Continuing along the outside of the bag, you have an interesting implementation on the water bottle pocket. This is where you start to see some of the modular and adaptable aspects of this system. And so you have this water bottle pocket that can actually tuck away if you don't want to use it. Some people like having external water bottle pockets, some people aren't as crazy about them. And so this one kind of tries to strike a balance in the middle where you can add it when you need it and then put it away when you don't want to see it. So it's a pretty interesting idea. You pull out the water bottle pocket from this flap at the bottom, and then you wrap this portion around the elastic band. It's got some snaps here that will allow you to secure it. And then you have a pretty spacious water bottle pocket that's created here. And so this was able to hold my 26-ounce Yeti Rambler pretty comfortably. You can see that it slides in there. You can see the elasticity that's provided by the band. And so because of the way that this wraps around, you still have some gaps along the sides. So you wouldn't want to place anything smaller in here that could potentially fall out of the side. But this is a pretty cool idea. It gets the job done. It does function well as a water bottle pocket. It can also hold other items that, you know, are meant to be stored in these types of pockets, like a umbrella or smaller tripod. You could slide it in there. And so when you're done, you pull your water bottle out, or if you don't want to use it, you can unsnap it, hide this away again in that little slip pocket. You also have this elastic band here that you can fully remove if you want to have just a cleaner overall look along the exterior. So pretty unique idea there, and you know, something that I'm sure people will kind of be mixed on as far as how it works. But as far as a water bottle itself, I think that it did a good job. It held my water bottle pocket. It allowed me to grab it when I needed to, and then, you know, if I'm not using it, put it away there. On the front, you also have a little loop that could maybe be a good spot to clip on a bike light or just hang something on with a carabiner. At the top of the bag, you have a really nice handle that just provides plenty of space. You have a very nice padded material here. This has been great to just pick the bag up whenever I want to grab it. Feels super secure. Always a fan of these styles here. And then as far as whether the bag stands up well on its own, when everything is loaded out, it does a pretty good job. Now, because of the more flexible structure of the bag, as I started to move things around, you can see that it might lean a little bit, and it can work inconsistently depending on how things are loaded out. So for me, I still tended to lean it against the wall whenever I was placing it down next to me, or, you know, on my chair or something like that. And then as far as the capacity of the bag, this feels like it comes in at around 26 to 28 liters. So it's a little bit of a larger EDC bag. And, you know, I was able to hold an impressive amount, all the items that I would normally like to carry with me, Still gave me some additional space for longer days, and it never felt overwhelmingly big or bulky. Even when it was a little bit more packed out, it still managed to maintain a pretty slim profile, making it great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, and carrying onto a variety of domestic and international airlines. And then moving into the harness system, so far the bag has been pretty comfortable to wear. The company tried to find a middle ground between more technical hiking bags and then modern kind of sleek tech bags, and offering something that provided technical performance without the aesthetic that sometimes comes with. And so the straps have a nice amount of padding here. It's really soft and comfortable on the inside. You have a breathable mesh to help prevent moisture from building up. The width of the straps is a little bit more narrow than I would typically like to see for a bag of this size. So I wish that maybe they had just been a little wider, but in general, they felt pretty good. You have kind of this loop here where you can hang something on if you need to. You also have an adjustable sternum strap with a magnetic buckle, which is great to see. You have a little bit of strap management on the bottom. And then the back panel, you can see that this looks pretty robust. This offers a nice amount of padding, but breathability is really where the emphasis was here. You have a nice mesh, you have air channels, elevation here. So, it really does feel like you're getting more airflow while you're wearing this compared to some other bags. Now, here's where you can start to see some more of that influence of technical packs and trying to bring some of those things over here. This padding is a little rigid, and so, it works well. It does feel like you're getting a lot of support, and I'm guessing how comfortable you find this will depend on your particular preferences. So far, this has felt good to me, and, I really like the emphasis on breathability. As I live in a hotter climate, so this is definitely something that's going to be beneficial for me. And on the back here, you also have a couple of additional things. A handle if you want to be able to carry this more like a briefcase. This is a little bit, thinner, smaller. I wish that the style of the side handle had been more like the one on the top, which was very well done. And then you have a strap that comes out that you can use to create a luggage pass-through for your bag if you want to rest this on a suitcase while traveling. Nice to have that here. Interesting that the G hook on mine is oriented almost upside down, I would say. So, as I mentioned in the intro, this is a pre-production unit. I don't know if that's something that's going to be changing. There are definitely some aspects as far as the materials and other things that will be updated when the Kickstarter for this launches. And then the last thing I'll call out here on the back is that you also have a hidden zippered pocket, which is going to be great for storing something a little bit more sensitive to keep it protected from pickpockets. Jumping into the organizational options, the bag has a pretty minimal layout. I was actually surprised that there's not really any external quick access pockets. It feels like a lot of the organization is built into the inside and also into the sling bag component that we'll take a look at in a little bit. So no compartments on the front, which might have been nice to see, or typical top quick access pockets, which I am a big fan of. And so I'll go ahead and hop to the laptop area. I really love the implementation here. Very well protected zipper. You have the dual zipper pulls. And then on the inside, you have padded sleeves for both a tablet and a laptop. And I really love how much focus was placed on creating a very protective tech area. I think the company did an awesome job here. I really like that both sleeves actually have a good amount of protection. I feel like sometimes the tablet sleeve gets shortchanged. It's got plenty of space for a 10 or 11 inch tablet. My iPad mini fits in there comfortably. You can see how thick this is. You have the soft lining on the front. Same on the laptop sleeve. You have a soft lining here, really nice padding on the sleeve itself, and then it's properly suspended off the bottom of the ground so you can drop your laptop in there. It's not gonna make contact. So really checking off all the boxes for what I typically look for out of a laptop compartment. And I have a 14-inch MacBook Pro in here. You can see that there's enough space for a 15 or 16-inch laptop. Very easy to get my laptop in and out. And now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at that soft lining. This comes up a decent amount, so if you happen to have a thicker device, should be able to fit in there comfortably. And overall, I think that this is an excellent laptop compartment. It definitely feels like my device is gonna be very well protected while I'm on the go. And then on the front of this tech area, you have a little bit of built-in organization, a couple of slip pockets where I have USB-C cable. I have my USB-C hub to charge my laptop and my tablet. You have a couple of pockets for a pen or a stylus, and then you have an AirTag pocket at the top. And then moving into the main compartment, you actually have two zippers that provide access into this area. First off, at the top, you have this one that almost feels like it's meant to replace the quick access compartment that I was mentioning earlier. You still have access to a zippered pocket and into the sling bag organizational accessory that we're going to take a look at in a little bit. This is also where you would pull this out if you wanted to just kind of use the sling bag on its own without the backpack. So, you know, it's nice to have this top level access to the bag when you need to. You can also just grab some of the items resting near the top more quickly, but you also have a full clamshell opening to this main compartment, which I'm always a fan of. Easy to pack out, great for traveling, and you know, large open space here. You can see that I have kind of my typical modular setup, the Evergood Civic Access pouch 1 liter, my Beats Studio wireless headphones, Evergood Civic Access pouch 1/2 liter, the Lockbee pouch that I carry around with me, packable rain jacket. I could have fit the Evergood Civic Access pouch 2 liters, so more than enough space for the items that I typically like to carry with me, and also for minimal travel. If I wanted to toss in a pack cube, my dop kit, an extra pair of shoes, this would definitely be able to work for a longer weekend trip. And now on the inside here, you can get a look at the sling bag component. So this is, you know, probably the standout feature of this bag is the fact that it has this sling bag that you can remove and then convert into something smaller for your day-to-day if you want to leave your larger backpack at your hotel or at home. And so this is a really interesting idea. Definitely, you know, was very curious when I first heard about this bag. And so it attaches via magnetic buckles onto the back here, so it keeps it secure when you're not actually pulling it out. And you know, this kind of turns into the organizational options of the bag. And I think that it works pretty well in that regard. It reminds me of some of the admin panels that you typically find built in to other bags. So you have a couple of zippered pockets. Now, when you have other things in the main area, like the pouches that I was showing earlier, it can be tough to get to this bottom section in particular. So anything that you store here is not gonna be easy to grab. And it's pretty easy to get the sling bag in and out. One of the things I wanted to test out when I first got this was how well I could pull it out while the main compartment was loaded out. So I want to showcase what that looks like. And in general, it's pretty easy to get it out. You have a handle here, and because of the magnetic buckles, you just kind of pull it and it comes out pretty quickly. So in that regard, it works well. Now, putting it back in with stuff inside of the main area is something that I wasn't able to do, so I have to open this up, take everything out, and then I could reattach the sling bag component. So not the most smooth implementation for getting it in, but getting it out works well. And so here you can see the back of the bag without the sling bag insert. These buckles here, always a fan of them. They work securely. And then you have this elastic band, which is meant to secure this sling bag system a little bit better when you have it attached to the bag. I actually chose not to leave this in here just to make it easier to pull this out. So I just let that rest against the bag, and I found that it worked well, and I didn't really notice any issues with not using that band. Didn't notice the bottom flopping around because I had so much other stuff in here. I'll come back to the sling bag in a second, but I wanted to just kind of wrap up the review of this bag portion. So you have one slip pocket here on the inside. Could be, you know, an internal pocket for something like an umbrella, cables, smaller pouch. And then on the other side, you have some additional zippered pockets. On the bottom here, you have one with this vertically oriented zipper. This might have been one that would have been cool to have maybe on the exterior, to just have at least one exterior pocket. And you have a good amount of volume here. It doesn't have mesh, so you can't see on the inside, but here I have my alpaca admin pouch, and then an extension cable for that USB-C hub. And then above that, a zippered mesh pocket. I really like the mesh that's been used here. I can see what's on the inside. This is a compartment that was close to the top that you can access from that other zipper. So this is kind of what I was using as my typical quick access pocket. So my sunglasses with their case are in there. Also have just another couple of random items, Tom Bin Ghost Will pouch, packable blanket, just to kind of showcase the space. Nice amount of volume there. And then this is an elastic mesh, so it molds around what's on the inside. So in general, really solid backpack component. Even without the sling bag insert, I think this is a really great day bag. It's comfortable, has excellent laptop protection, nice amount of space, simple layout. And then coming back to the sling bag component, so the idea here is that you pull it out, and then this is able to fold up, and it's got these straps here that snap together. You have one on each side, and it converts this into a sling bag. It reminds me a little bit of something like Bellroy's Venture Sling. That's sort of the aesthetic and the vibe that I have here. Similar design touch to what this bag had on the front, with this kind of elastic loop here. And then you have pretty nice adjustable strap. It's got a good length, so very comfortable to wear it as a sling bag. You have a magnetic buckle. Here you have the attachment points on the back, and then a couple of handles so that you can carry it if you don't want to wear it. And you have these zippered pockets, so one on each side. And you know, the layout here is really nice. You have a spacious one. This is the one that was at the bottom of the bag when this is not folded up. And so just a large open compartment. I have extra battery in there, deck of playing cards, my nail clipper set, just some larger items to showcase how this could work. And one of the nice touches here is that you have a zipper on both sides. So when it's open, you can access it from the top, and when it's closed, you can access it from the top. So, you know, thinking through how everything should work together, which is great to see. And then on the other side, I'll leave the buttons unsnapped so that you can see the full layout. You have zippered pocket that's got a nice amount of volume here. You have some internal organization, a couple of slip pockets where I have just my tech items, my AirPods. I have a Leatherman multi-tool in there. Then I have my headlamp, just to showcase the volume that's offered by the various slip pockets. I have USB-C cable, and then you have zippered pocket here for anything smaller. You have a couple of elastic bands for, you know, dongles, pens, stylus, additional cables, other tech and EDC items. You have a zippered pocket, so lots of internal organization here to really adapt to whatever you're going to be packing. And then on the front, you have simple slip pocket here. And then I really like this accessory, which is another magnetic clip that's going to work well for your keys. So when you're wearing this as a sling bag or as a backpack, you can reach down, grab this easily, it detaches. Always a fan of this style versus kind of a lanyard that can be a little bit tricky to use. I think that this works very well. And so in general, I think that this is a pretty capable sling bag. Now, one thing that was interesting to me is that you do have sort of the gaps on the side, so it's not a true sling bag in that sense. If you place something here, I suppose you could actually use this to maybe hold a jacket or something, you know, in between, which normal sling bags wouldn't be able to use, but you can't rest something here in the middle. It'll fall off out of the side. So, you know, depending on how you typically use a sling bag or what you like to pack, that could be a pro or a con. And then when you want to put this away, you know, you just put it on the inside here, attach it using the magnets, and then the bag converts back into the full system. So really unique ideas here. I really appreciate how much emphasis was placed on some of the most important aspects of bags in general, like the harness system and the laptop compartment. The modular nature of this, you know, I think that it's a really unique idea. It doesn't really match up with how I normally like to organize my stuff, and I feel like it could end up being a little bit more kind of clunky and things to think about when you're using your bag. Now, some people really like modular systems. In general, I'm not always crazy about them. I just prefer to use the bag itself. I don't use sling bags quite as much, but for people that love sling bags or just really like kind of the idea of a system that you can put together and take apart, I think that this is a really cool idea. The sling bag itself was well implemented. I don't know that it would be as, you know, useful of an accessory on its own. I think it combines well with the backpack. The backpack I do think is great just on its own. And so, you know, really great job overall as far as kind of thinking outside of the box, coming up with a new system. Really great ideas here. I'm curious to see what else A-Tach is going to be coming up with in the future. And, you know, if you're just looking for a very capable sort of two bag combo, I think this is definitely going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the Slingah System from A-Tach over the past couple of months. I'll include a link in the description below to the company's site if you want to sign up to be notified when this launches. And I'll be curious to get your feedback on this video. I know it's interesting to watch a video for a bag that's not currently available. I think of it a little bit like a movie trailer where you can, you know, see something that's coming up, get a sense of all the exciting things that it'll have to offer, and decide if it's, you know, something you want to invest in from a newer brand. I think there's a lot of really cool ideas here. A lot of hard work went into it. I'll be excited to see kind of the final version when it actually launches. And I know that these modular systems aren't going to be for everybody. This won't meet everybody's needs per se, but I think that for many people, There's gonna be lots to like here. Definitely a brand that I think is gonna be worth keeping an eye on. And yeah, I'll be excited when this launches. I'll probably post some sort of announcement, update the description for this video with any Kickstarter links or things like that once they're available. But let me know what you think about this and what other modular systems you like to use. This reminded me a little bit of the rework system that I shared earlier in the year, which I also really enjoyed. Very interesting bag with lots of pouches that you could attach. It had the laptop insert, and so that was another one that worked pretty well as a standalone backpack, as a system. I think this one does a good job of working, as a backpack on its own, and then having that sling bag. I feel like they're more tightly integrated than the rework system was, but they both offer a lot of value and will work depending on your needs. So let me know what you think about modular systems, about the Slingah system. And as always, I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. I want to thank A-Tach for allowing me to kind of get a preview of the bag that's coming out. And if you enjoyed this one, make sure to give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.